Hello and welcome back to my channel. Let's learn another lesson today and it is called Treasure Island. Now this is an adventure novel written by Scottish author Robert Stevenson, and it is considered a coming of age story and is noted for its atmosphere, characters and action. So let's begin. Jim Hawkins' father and mother kept the Admiral Benbow Inn, which was the only building in a lonely cove in the west of England. One ice cold winter's day, a wizened old seaman with a sabre scar across his face arrived at the inn and took a room. His sole possession was an old sea chest which he guarded as a miser hoards his fortune. Billy, as the old sea dog called himself, told young Jim to keep a weather eye out for a seafaring type with one leg and gave him a fourpence piece of his troubles. Now the main character, Jim Hawkins, his father and his mother, they kept an admirable Benbow Inn. It was a hotel or a guest house in a small bay in the west of England, and it was managed by Jim Hawkins' father and mother. Then a guest, a wizened person that is reduced in size because of old age, and he had a scar on his face. It was caused by a heavy sword with a curved blade. So he enters and he takes a room for rent. Now his sole possession, his only possession was an old sea chest or a treasure box, and he guarded it like a miser saves or he guards his fortune. This man, his name was Billy, and he told this young Jim to keep an eye or to look out for a man with one leg. He might come, so if he comes you have to inform me, and for that he gave him fourpence of money. This a pity. His generosity doesn't run to paying rent. Jim's father grumbled. Jim's father was having trouble making the inn pay, and he was so ill that Jim and his mother feared he would not outlive the winter. During the evenings, Billy would sit in his corner of the bar, drinking rum and singing 15 men on the dead man's chest, yo ho ho, and a bottle of rum, while daytime would find him on the rocks, looking nervously out to sea. Now Jim's father was ill, and Jim and his mother both feared that he may not live throughout the winter. He was so ill, and he also grumbled about people not paying the rent. They were having lot of trouble because the people who were staying in their hotel or the guest room, they were not paying the rent properly. Now during the evening time, Billy would be sitting in a corner at the bar. He would be drinking rum and he would be singing 15 men on the dead man's chest, just a song. And during the daytime, he would be sitting on the rocks near the sea, looking at the sea. He would look very nervous, scared. It was several weeks after Billy's arrival that another mysterious seafaring man appeared, a sallow, evil-looking fellow with 2 fingers missing. He argued with Billy, and in no time the two were fighting furiously. Wounded, the stranger was put to flight, but Billy was left stretched out on the floor, gasping for breath. Dr. Livesey, who had come to treat Jim's ailing father, told Billy he had a stroke. He bled him, put him up to bed, and forbade him any more rum. Now after many weeks, Billy's arrival, there was another seafaring man. He was a sallow, pale and yellowish. He was not very healthy, and he was very evil looking. And his 2 fingers were missing. So he came there and he met Billy, and they had argument, and then in no time they started fighting very furiously, very angrily. Now the stranger was wounded, but he ran off from there, but Billy was fallen on the floor and he was gasping for breath. He was breathless. Now the Dr. Livesey, he had come to treat Jim's father who was not well, and he told Billy that he had a stroke. So he attended or treated him and put him to bed, and then he told him not to have any more rum. Billy called Jim to his side His eyes burned with fever as he spoke. "I must shift before the lubbers get to me and give me the black spot." Mystified, Jim asked him to explain. Billy said that the black spot was a pirate summons. He had been a member of the notorious Captain Flint's crew, and he was afraid they were coming to do for him and steal his old sea chest. Now Billy, he was laying on his bed, and he called Jim. Now his eyes were burning with fever, and then he told him, "I must shift before the lubbers." Now who are lubbers? Some awkward people, clumsy people. They come and get me and they kill me. I have to go away from here, and they are gonna come and steal my old sea chest. He said he was a member of the Captain Flint's crew and he was a pirate. Now who are pirates? The people who attack and rob ships at the sea. He was a part of that team, Captain Flint's crew. But Jim soon forgot Billy's problem, for later that night the doctor told him that his father had died. The same day that Jim's father was laid to rest, a blind old pirate called Blind Pew came to the Admiral Benbow. Jim unwittingly led him into the bar, where he slapped a circular piece of black paper into Bill's hand before he could avoid him. By the time Blind Pew had taken his leave again, Billy lay gasping on the floor, dying of a massive stroke. His last words were that the pirates would be upon him that same evening. Now very soon Jim forgot all Billy's problem, because that same night the doctor announced that his father had died. Now as Jim was very busy with the funeral of his father, that same day when he laid his father to rest, a blind old pirate, now his name was Blind Pew, he came to that admirable Benbow, and Jim, he did not know. He just led him into the bar, and there this person, that Blind Pew, he went near Billy and he gave him a small piece of black paper into Billy's hand. When the Blind Pew had left, Billy was laying on the floor. He was breathless again and he was dying because of the stroke. And his last words that he said was, "The pirates are gonna come here." That same evening, Jim and his mother quickly searched through Billy's precious sea chest. His mother took as much coins as to cover the old pirate's rent, and not a half penny more, while Jim found an intriguing bundle of papers wrapped in oilcloth, where he pocketed as payment for his services. Alarmed by loud voices, Jim and his mother fled out into the night and hid, as Blind Pew and several pirates arrived and proceeded to ransack the inn. After listening to this, Jim and his mother, they quickly started searching the precious sea chest that Billy had. Jim's mother, she took some coins from the sea chest or the box, but she took only that much that the old pirate had to pay for the rent. She did not take more than that. And Jim, he found a bundle of papers. It was very interesting because it was wrapped in a oilcloth. So he took that and he kept it inside his pocket, saying that it was his payment for the services that he had given to Billy. And immediately they started hearing some loud noises or voices, and both of them ran away from there and they started hiding. And the Blind Pew and his several pirates, the gang, they arrived there and they started searching the entire inn or the hotel. Blind Pew and the pirates were outraged that what they sought from Billy's sea chest had gone missing. Knowing that Jim and his mother could not have gone far, they rushed outside, but before they could find the fugitives, they were ridden down by several horsemen. Jim and his mother saw that their saviors were revenue officers who had been tipped off that there was a pirate ship moored nearby. The rest of the pirates had escaped, but Blind Pew lay dead on the ground where he had been knocked down by one of the horses. Now Blind Pew and the other pirates, they started searching the entire hotel, and they were very angry because the thing that they wanted to find from Billy's sea chest or that box had been missing. It had gone, and they knew that Jim and his mother, they could not have gone very far. So they ran outside to find them, and before they could find them, they were hit down by the horsemen, and those horsemen were the revenue officers. So Jim and his mother saw that. They ran off from there. Now the rest of the pirates, some of them escaped, and Blind Pew, he was dead. He laid down on the floor because he was knocked down or killed by the one of the officers. While his mother was cared for by friends, Jim was taken to Squire Trelawney's house, where Dr. Livesey happened to be dining. The squire and the doctor were local magistrates and asked to be told all that had happened that evening. When Jim had finished his story, he produced the papers he had taken, adding that he was sure they were what the pirates had been searching for. The two men were in complete agreement, for what they had before them was a treasure map showing where the buccaneer Captain Flint had buried all his booty. Squire Trelawney and Dr. Livesey hurriedly made plans for a voyage to the island where the treasure lay buried. Jim was to be their cabin boy. Jim's mother was taken care by some of the friends, and Jim was taken to the Squire Trelawney's house. Squire is nothing but the landlord, and in that same house Dr. Livesey also happened to be there. He was having dinner. Now the squire, that is the landlord, and the doctor, they were both local magistrates. Magistrates are nothing but civilian officers who administers the law, and they asked Jim to tell exactly what had happened. So as soon as Jim finished the entire story, he produced the papers that he had taken from that sea chest, and he was sure that those pirates had been searching for these papers. Now the two men, that is squire and the doctor, they both agreed that it was this paper that those pirates were searching, because the papers were nothing but a treasure map in which it is shown about the pirate Captain Flint, where he had buried all his treasure. Now immediately both Dr. Livesey and Squire Trelawney, they both started making plans for a trip to the island where the treasure was buried. So Jim was their cabin boy. I hope you have understood the lesson till now, and the next part will be continued in the next video. So until then, keep watching for more videos, and do keep liking and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.